Hello, friends. It's your girl, Anna Loves, and welcome back to Creepy Corner Story Time. So today, in celebration of the month of March, and it being St. Patrick's Day on the 17th, I put together a little Creepy Corner story special just for you. I'm going to read you a short story about a man that worked at a coin shop. So here it goes. A man named Scott that worked in a coin shop sent a story in. He worked and lived in downtown, so he would just walk home. He lived in a high-rise a few blocks from the coin shop that he worked at, and he said they usually closed up shop before dark, but this particular day, he and a coworker stayed behind to play cards well into the night. He was almost home and about to walk into his parking garage to take the elevator up when he heard someone call out to him. "Hello there. That is a marvelous cologne you're wearing. What is it?" He turned around to find a tiny man in a dark green suit standing by the garage entrance. He jumped back startled as the garage was empty, or so he thought. The little man walked closer and began sniffing the air. He exclaimed. "Divine. My name is Richie," he said, reaching out his hand to introduce himself. Scott told him he wasn't wearing any cologne as he reached down to shake his hand. This little guy was giving him the creeps. "Ah, yes, I know what it is," he exclaimed, clapping his hands together with glee. "It's the smell of gold." He pointed to a flower pinned on his lapel. "See? Smell this," he said, pointing to the brooch on his jacket. "No thanks, I really need to get home." Richie tried his hardest to coax him into leaning down, but Scott would not give. He rushed past him and started for the stairwell, taking 2 steps at a time, looking back to see Richie following him with his eyes. The next day, he was leaving for work. He saw police officers outside his building, questioning neighbors. 2 people from his building never made it home that night. Incidentally, one worked at a jewelry store and the other at a pawn shop. Scott wondered if Richie had anything to do with it and believed in his heart that Richie was indeed a leprechaun and had taken those people to get his little hands on what he wanted, gold. Well, thank you so much for joining me for Creepy Corner Story Time. We'll go back to our usual paranormal stories probably next week, maybe tomorrow if I hear a good one. Send me your stories. Bye.